Hi guys, today I am making fresh lemon soap from our cottage garden collection. I'm getting started with my blend of oils. It's been sitting for a little while, so I'm going with my spatula before I add my lye water solution, just to make sure everything is still incorporated the way that I need it to be. Once I get done with that, I will slowly add in my lye water solution. The inspiration behind this soap was that I just really wanted to have one fresh scent, and I have wanted to make a lemon or a citrus soap for a really long time, and it just seemed to fit in with the rest of the theme. Having something really fresh with cottage garden, I don't know, it seemed to go. Maybe it doesn't totally, but it did to me. Once my lye water is in my oils, I give it a quick little stir, and then I will go in with my stick blender and make sure that everything is emulsified together. Now that my batter is emulsified, I'm going to go ahead and split the batch into the different colors I am using. For this particular soap, I decided I wanted 3 different colors. So I've got kind of a brighter yellow, and then a light yellow, more like a pastel yellow, and then also white, and I'm going to end up doing it as a drop swirl. So first I measure out, I did the math beforehand of how much that I wanted of each color, so I'm weighing it out now with my scale to make sure that I get those measurements. My 2 accent colors are the ones that are going into these smaller pitchers. It was nice to do kind of a simpler pour on this soap, just because I had done a lot more intricate designs for some of the other soaps in the collection. I did a video on one of them, which was the Sunrise in the Garden soap, and that one was a lot of work. I had another soap that I didn't make a video for, but it was a layered soap, so I had to pour a layer, let it set, pour a layer, let it set. That one was a lot of work too. So it was really nice to do something that was more of an easy design. Now I'm pouring that first main yellow color in. I'm going to blend it by hand. I'd never used the lemon fragrance oil before, so I wasn't sure how it was going to behave, but it did really beautifully. I used the scent called Fresh Lemon from Midwest Fragrance Company. I love them. I love their oils. I haven't gotten anything bad from them at all. They're actually local to me. I'm in Wisconsin, just like they are, so I love also supporting that local business. Works out for me. And like I said, their fragrances themselves are just really lovely. I've never had a bad fragrance from them. Still hand blending. Like I said, I wanted to make sure that my batter would still be pretty fluid for the pour that I want to do. And also when I use these square containers, I have to really make sure I get into each corner to blend all the colorant into the soap batter so that I don't end up with weird spots of uncolored soap. Next, my lighter accent color goes in. This is more of that pastel-y yellow color. So I'll mix that in again by hand, just trying to keep my batter really fluid. Such a cheery color. I don't wear a lot of yellow because I have a pasty complexion. It doesn't really work for me, but I love yellow. Like, I love the brightness of it. My kitchen is actually painted yellow, so I guess I get to have it somewhere, but I don't know. Something about a yellow soap just makes me happy. I'm going to get done hand blending this one, and then I'm going to add my fragrance in before I add the titanium dioxide, which will be my white color. So I'm going to hand blend the fragrance in and then be back. Now that my fragrance oil is blended in, I'm going to go back to that one pitcher and add the titanium dioxide. The reason that I waited is because titanium dioxide can sometimes make the soap batter thicken up quicker. And like I said, I'd never worked with the fragrance oil before, so I wasn't sure how that was going to react. And I wanted to do the drop swirl design I'm going to do, and you do need a pretty fluid batter to be able to do that. So I waited to mix in the titanium dioxide. I've done it before where I've mixed in titanium dioxide at the same time as I've mixed other colors for a more intricate design, and it's always happened that by the time I actually get around to pouring everything, the titanium dioxide has set up faster than everything else, and then I don't always get the look I'm going for just because, you know, the one batter ends up being thicker. I also am not adding any of the fragrance oil to the white portion. I didn't see any notes on the fragrance oil that said it would discolor, but I didn't want to take any chances because I really wanted to make sure that the part I wanted white would stay white. I'm layering in my base color first into my 2 molds, going back and forth. I'm trying to eyeball and get it as even as I can. I'm not always perfect at it, but I try. This is a really terrible camera angle, sorry. I don't think there's any great way sometimes to film myself pouring because the container ultimately always gets in the way, whether it's when I'm trying to pour or when I'm trying to scrape it out. It ends up with wonky angles. I don't know. Maybe someday I'll need a different setup. Now I'm going in with my accent colors. I'm pouring down close to where my batter is so that the pour on this one is a little more shallow. And you'll see as I go on, I'm going to pour from a couple different heights to get different depths into the batter. So that's the first accent color, and then I'm going back in with that lighter yellow. It doesn't look super different, but it will once it cures. It'll lighten up a little bit more. So a little bit goes into each one. And then I'm just going to keep going with my layering of the colors. So I'm pouring a little bit of the white, a little bit of the accent yellow, then a little bit more of the white, a little bit more of the accent yellow, and I'm going to keep doing that until I've used up all of the soap batter in my little accent pitchers there. I got all my soap batter into my 2 molds. I scraped out my pitchers into the little lines of color that you can see on top, just the rest of the soap batter. And now I get to do my favorite part, which is texturing the top. This part, for some reason, is so soothing to me, just blending all of the colors together. I'm just using the back of a paintbrush here. I'm not sticking the paintbrush in super deep because I don't want to mess up all of the drop swirls underneath. I'm just trying to get a little bit on the top of that swirl. So I'm going back and forth, going all the way around. It's just so pretty when it's done. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other one. This one is kind of like a Taiwan swirl, but not really. I'm not always super careful when I swirl, and sometimes when I do it, it's literally just what I'm feeling in the moment is how I swirl it. So sometimes I do the super careful back and forth. Sometimes I just do random swirls. Just kind of depends on how the soap is speaking to me that day. All right, guys, I'm bringing you in at a different angle on the top of this soap. Now that I have it all swirled, I'm putting these little lemon slice embeds. That's what you would call kind of the decorations that you put on soap. I made these with a lemon slice mold. I'm pretty sure it was like an ice cube mold, but it was a silicone mold that I used for this. And then the way that I made them was I used what's called melt and pour soap. It's a glycerin soap, and it's just like what it says in the name. You can melt it in your microwave and then pour it into the mold and let it set. And it's soap, just like any other soap. It's just a different recipe. The reason that I went with this is because the melt and pour has more of that translucent, shiny kind of quality that I thought was more fitting for like looking like a real lemon slice. So I mixed up some of the same yellow that I had put on the inside of the soap to make these embeds. I'm trying to line them up the best that I can. I am really bad at lining up embeds, even though like you can see those little pink dots on the side of my mold where I thought I had marked everything out, but nope. I'm still just really struggle bussing with it. And I think because the lemon embeds were basically almost the exact width of a bar of soap is why I was struggling so much, because I just got really nervous that I was going to end up accidentally slicing one or more of them. It all ended up turning out fine, but just had to get through the struggle first. So I'm doing the first loaf, and then I will do the next one. I did have to wait a little bit in between from when I did the design on the top to when I put the embeds in. I basically had to wait for the soap to set up enough where those little lemon slices weren't just going to completely sink to the bottom of this soap. So I'm going to finish up putting all my embeds on, and then we'll come back for the cut. And here we are for the cut. It's been probably about 24 hours at this point to where I cut the soap. I did cut the first bar and the little end piece just prior, but look at that swirl. How cute did that turn out? I really love the combination of the two yellows with the white. Cutting again. Being really careful not to cut through the embeds. So I'm going to go through and cut the rest of this loaf of soap. All right, I figured since I didn't really have a great shot of the soap as I was cutting it, I would leave you with this final shot so you could really see how gorgeous those swirls are. I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. Thanks for watching.